So in this today's video, we are going to be talking about how the HTML work, how to link our CSS and the HTML boilerplate, and also how to style the HTML with our CSS and make our web page look awesome. So without much further ado, let's get started. As you can see here, I have a folder called practice CSS, and on this folder, let us click. So the folder is just empty, there is nothing inside, so you can see empty folder. So in here I can be able to create a file, or let us go and open it. As you can see, we are using the VS Code editor. This folder is already open on my VS Code. This is the folder here. This is the folder here. Nothing is inside the folder, and this is the folder name. Practice CSS. Nothing is inside the folder. So we are going to create our HTML file. As you can see, here is our VS Code. The VS Code is a code editor where we type our code in. So for this practice, let us create a file. If we want to create a file, we'll come down here straightly and click on new file. So we have clicked on new file. They will prompt us to create the file. So now we are going to type on this file name. You can give your file name anything, but in this case I'm giving it index dot. This is an HTML file we want to create, so for that reason I'll give it dot HTML. So when we open it, we're going to see that we have created a file, and this file is called HTML, and in here we are ready to type our code. So that is how it's been done. So for that reason, we have the HTML boilerplate. It is called the HTML boilerplate, which we can just come here and do less than. Once we do less than, we give it exclamation point. Then we return our listen to all caps. Then we type, and then we give it this thing. Then give it HTML. Then we give it the closing bracket, that is the greater bracket. So this is how we normally create our HTML file here with this sign. So in here we can then come and give it the we can come here and do less than HTML, then greater than. So we have the HTML this thing here. So inside this HTML we need a tool file, which is the header. So we can give it like this, head, and give it greater than sign. This is the head. So down step, we can then come here and give less than, then we have the body, then greater than. So by default, the header is less than, then the head, then greater than. Then we have it also have a closing tag, which is this, and this header contains things that you can view in our file. So it contains things that we cannot see on our browser, but everything that is in here on the body contains things that you can see in the browser. So for that reason, let's continue. Let's say on this on the body tab now, let us say we want to give it paragraph. We have what we call the paragraph sign, and this paragraph sign, let's say okay, let's say we are giving it less than, then p tag, then greater than. So by default it will also give us the closing tag, that is less than / then p tag and close slash. So with this now, it is actually the closing tag. So for that reason, let us type in here something like hello world and click save. So we have some method of opening our file on our browser. So one of the method is we go back to our file here, we open it, then this is the index of HTML I create. I can right click. Once I right click, it will load up, then it will prompt me open with. I click open with, then it comes down here. I'm opening with Google Chrome on this part, so I click open with, I click Google Chrome. So let's see what it will give us now. Here is our hello world. As you can see, this is how we type the hello world. It have opened on our browser, and this is our word page, hello world. So for that reason, let's go back to our code editor. Let's say okay, the hello world. Let's adjust this a bit. Okay, so now we have something like this. So as you can see, the code have something like it have syntax and rules that it follows. Just for example, we come down here and we remove one of these tag, and nothing will happen because let's go to the browser again. Nothing will happen because by default, you see, because the language we provide, the tags we provide is not normal, so it is giving us this. But once it's not like an English language that anything you speak, people understand you and respond to it. Why the code that we are talking about here is, is something that anything you give to the computer, that is what the computer uses. If you give an error, the computer makes use of error. If you give it the proper sign, the proper code, the computer makes use of code. That was when I was in school. They normally tell us that computer is a jiggle machine, garbage in, garbage out, then nonsense in, nonsense out. That is when they normally define computer with, to us when I was still in CC school. So that is how it is in this regard. So let us furthermore go again. As you can see, we open the file here directly from the folder. So by default, let us refresh again. You see, by default, we must go in there. Anything we type, we need to refresh first. So let us go in and do something again like this. Let's say we have something like we have an element called the button element. So let's type the button, the less than tag sign, then the button, type it, then we give it, it will also give us, send automatically Google Chrome or the VS Code will automatically give us what we need. Then we'll do mean. Let's save from here. We have saved. We'll go back to our browser. We need to save it, not pop up. We need to save first. Here it is. When we save, it will now refresh before it pop up. That is click me. Here is our button. So once we click now, nothing happens. But another way of open our code is using live saver. So for those who don't have live saver, you can as well come down here and click this extension. Once you click the extension will pop up here. Then we'll not type something like we need live saver. By default, here is live saver. I already have it installed here. So live saver is here. We can click on it. When we click on it, the live saver will pop up on install. I have it installed, so you can then install it. If you install it, then you can then come back to your browser and right click on your work. Once you right click, it will tell you open with live saver. After you have installed the live saver, you open it. Once you open your work with your live saver, you see by default here is the live saver. So here is the other file initially that you have. Why is the same thing in there? But what is all about the live saver now is this. We have our live saver turned on open. Let's say, let us have another. Let's say we have H1. Let's go to the top and have something like H1. We click enter. Now the VS Code also have something like, okay, you don't need to type something like this again, H1. It is mandated, but not that you type H1 it pop up, you say you type something like what is your name, so you click on question mark, then save. Now let's watch what it gives us. You see what is your name have appeared, but here what is your name did not appear. We need to refresh first before what is your name appears. So now we refresh, it have appeared. So for that reason, I am not using the file I opened directly from my I'm not using the file I opened from here actually. I'm using the one I opened from live saver, which is I'm removing the other one. I'm removing this one from my browser, then I'm leaving the one I open with live saver to exist, so that I don't need to refresh first. You need to pop up, and in this manner let us divide our screen side to side so that people can be able to see what we are doing properly. So now I click here, my screen have come this way, that was smaller. I come down here, I click on my VS Code, I click this side, my screen now open side to side. So for this reason, let us close this. So I have the H1 we say what is your name, and I have the paragraph tag we say hello world, and I have the button tag we say click me. Each and every one of them are here. So for this reason now we have our files. So let us directly go into, at least we have seen how we create our boilerplate, we have seen how we tag here. Let's assume here now in our body tag we have something that they call title. So let's come here and type our title and click enter. The title will pop up. So for that reason we are going to type in something like, we are going to give this title name. Let's say HTML CSS practice, and we save. By default we are not going to see it here because that is not where it's supposed to be. It's nowhere to be found, but by default it's supposed to be somewhere here. But reason why it like that is because we are using the live saver. So if we go back in there and open this file, if we go back to our open this one, we are going to see that this title will pop up on our link here, and that is what we are by default to be using at any time. So now let's create our CSS file. Let's come here, let's do style.css. So here now let's divide this side by side so that we can be able to be seeing it. So okay, now we have divided this side by side so we are seeing what we are doing. So by default now let's say okay, we want to style this and give it color, different type of color, and make it look beautiful. So in this regards we have the H1, we have the paragraph tag, and we have the button tag here. So let's say okay, we want to type the button, well, want to style the button tag. We can say okay, the ways that we can be able to locate this button tag now all here is by typing the name button. So come down here, we type something like button, then we'll click the curly braces sign and open curly braces and close curly braces. Then we'll click enter to separate them. Then we can come here and give it background. We have something called background color, background slash color, give it volume. Then we can give it, okay, let's give it red. So let's see what it gives us. Meanwhile, if we come down here under this head, we can come and do something like style. To click this style, we can come here and do button and give you the background color. They will do yellow. You see that the button has changed. We can do something like it have changed, but let us comment this out. We have a word called comment. If you want to comment something out, you can just do like this and click hash like this, control then forward slash on your keyboard. You have the comment. So now we have comment this out. That is one way of styling something on our work page. As you can see, before we comment this out, you see that our button got changed. So the other way is to create a file like this called, give it a name and title is CSS file, and link it with your HTML file. How can you link it now? That is where the question there. So you can come down here and type something like, let's say like this, and type something like link. Once by default it has shown us, so click it and we save. You can see this did not show here because this is this overpowers this. You highlight it, then you give it something like this, and you see it has been commented out. So this one now take charge. This will have red. This now take charge on it. That is what we have here now. Let's say okay, we want to style this. Let's comment this out so that we just move it at once because we have already linked our. Let's close this again. We have linked our style sheets here now on our file. So for that reason, let us style other part. Let's say okay, we are giving the text the color, that is the text color. Let's say we are giving it white. You see by default it pop up white. let's say when I want to border, let's say we are giving it none. We don't need border. This small line here, we don't need it, so we are giving it none. See the border we remove. Then let's say we are giving it padding. You know what padding is? We're giving it padding 20 pixels, then auto 20 pixels padding. That is it. Then let's say okay, it's big now, it's larger.